Hey guys, I know this video probably will get a lot of hate, and it's understandable. Yes, I do make tons and tons and tons of videos bashing Sony and giving them a lot of shit. But I hate to say that I pre-ordered a PlayStation Vita. I did it a while back, probably a month or two before I made this video. And with the reasoning behind it that I actually enjoyed the PSP. I thought it was a decent system. I mean, I do think the DS was better in certain regards, but there were a good handful of games that were great on the PSP. Especially, like, I liked MotorStorm. I think it was Arctic Edge. I like the Wipeout games. They're actually sitting on my cable box back over there by the 3DS. I loved Castlevania Dracula X Chronicles. I had, what else? Daxter was great. I had the Ratchet and Clank game for it. I had both Burnouts. I mean, Burnout Legends, Burnout Revenge. What else did I have? I mean, as you can see, there's a whole stack of UMDs up over there. I pre-ordered the Vita because I think that the price is actually surprising. When Sony was about to announce it, I was like, oh yeah, watch, it's going to be $400. It's going to be $430, or $450, I mean. You know, but when they announced it at $250, you notice that they were competing with Nintendo. That, you know, they kept it at the same price the PSP originally launched at. There are a few reasons why I pre-ordered the PlayStation Vita. For one, Wipeout 2048. I do like Wipeout. I am a big fan of it. I've been a fan of the series since the very first game. I owned the very first game for the PC. That game looks great, and the fact that it's going to be one of the biggest games of the franchise, because Wipeout HD was a rehash of many of the tracks that were on Wipeout Pulse and Wipeout Pure. They were unoriginal. It seemed like they just did a graphic update to it. But hey, I got it for free, so I'm not going to complain. I do like that over the years they made the series, they refined things, they made the controls a tad bit easier than it used to be. It seems like the game is faster. There's a lot of great things about the Wipeout series. Second reason I got that I pre-ordered the system was that Sony seems to be taking a different approach and a different attitude towards the launch of this new system. If you haven't read, Sony has made a statement regarding updates. They admitted that they are not satisfied with the way they've been updating the PSP and PlayStation 3. They say that it's not the consistency or the amount of updates, it's rather the update process in itself. They admitted that it's ridiculous that a person has to sit there for a half an hour to an hour updating their console. They're looking into improving it, starting with this handheld, that updates will not take forever. They'll be very quick, painless, and allow you to continue your gaming. I hope it's similar to how Nintendo does their updates. Nintendo doesn't release a lot on that 3DS, but the update process is pretty painless. I'm happy with it. I like that Sony is going with fucking cartridges. That's one thing that drove me nuts with the PSP, was that the UMD took forever to load certain games. And I'm glad that Sony is finally saying, okay, yeah, you know, the UMD thing, it was shit. We're going to step away from it. And I also like that they didn't do the PSP Go move and say, you know what? Fuck you, if you want to go to a retail store, you have to buy all your games directly from us. That would never have flown pretty well. That probably would have killed the machine. I do like the fact that they finally put dual analog sticks. There were a bunch of first-person shooter games I had on the PSP that were pretty much you couldn't really play the game. It was broken because they were using the triangle, X, square, and circle buttons to use that kind of as your analog stick, and it just didn't work. And the fact that they're going to finally have two analog sticks, I think, is great. The other thing is that it's the use of two touchscreens. I think that it's very unique and different because some of the things they were showing, I mean, yeah, it seems gimmicky at first, but I think that there may be some creative moves with that. I do like that the screen is OLED. I mean, it does look great. If you've ever seen an OLED screen in person, it looks amazing. Depending on the quality of it. I remember one of my coworkers had a Samsung Galaxy, I think it was Samsung Galaxy S or something like that. It was one of the earlier MOLED screens, and they were ridiculous. They looked shitty. I mean, yes, they were very vivid, but the sharpness of the display sucked. This supposedly has double the pixel density of the PSP, which is great. Sony is actually looking into a method of pretty much allowing you to convert your UMD collection to digital downloads. They haven't really specified everything yet, but from what I've heard, they're going to give you a discount, which I think is bullshit. They should have some sort of trade-in program. Say, look, you know what? Send us your UMDs. We will send you an email with a download code or something. Do something like that, Sony. Fuck you if you're going to say, hey, you know, we want to offer you a discount. Either sell us a drive that you can latch onto the back of the thing so you could play your old UMDs, or allow us to do a trade-in option, because I am not paying twice for a game I already bought. You know, it's your fucking problem, Sony. If you're going to, you know, offer these programs, do it right. Don't fuck us over, because I'm not paying an extra $1 per game to convert them over. That's bullshit. Now, I know a lot of people say, you know, yeah, you hate Sony. You say you're never going to support them. Look at it this way. Sony does make great things. I mean, I bought a Sony vinyl record player a few months ago. When it comes to music, stuff like that, audio equipment, I do like Sony. When it comes to laptops, I like Sony. My very first computer was a Sony Vita. But when it came to the PlayStation 3, this is where I say, fuck you, Sony. I refuse to buy any game that has PlayStation Pass. If it turns out that those PSP games, the Wipeout 2048, Uncharted, Golden Abyss, and all these other games, if it turns out that these games are going to have PlayStation Pass, I will cancel my pre-order. I will, because I refuse to support that shit. I haven't bought a single PlayStation 3 game since when? I can't even remember the last game I bought. I've been mostly playing this game. Borrowed it from a friend, Final Fantasy 13. I haven't played a Final Fantasy game since Final Fantasy 9, and I never finished the game. But I actually like this to a certain extent. I don't like that it's as linear as fucking possible. I mean, I think a side-scrolling game is less linear than this shit. You have one predefined track, you have little branches, and in reality all the branches serve is for you to just find little like orbs that float around, and you can go and pick up whatever it has in there, but that's about it. They're really... Honestly, they should just walk for you, and every time an enemy comes up, here you go. You could choose what you want to fight. I do like the battle system in this game. I thought it was better in a way than Final Fantasy IX. But I find that a lot of times it seems a little too easy. I already have them all upgraded, and I'm up to Chapter 3 or Chapter 4, I believe. I haven't finished the game yet. I hope to finish it soon, but I do like it. I think it's very great, and there are times where you find it very difficult to tell the difference between pre-rendered and real-time rendering on this game, because it switches between them very flawlessly. Like, you can't even tell that it's switching. The way you really can distinguish between them, there are some key little differences, but you know what I have to say? When I played, I remember playing, let's say, Kingdom Hearts. You remember the cutscenes of Kingdom Hearts? That is the graphics we have real-time on the PlayStation 3. Now you take this game, and you look at the pre-rendered graphics on this game, just imagine, that could be next generation's graphics. Which, believe me, it's just jaw-dropping how detailed these games are. I mean, pre-rendered PlayStation 1 games look worse than real-time rendered PlayStation 3 games. It just amazes me in a way. Now, what does this mean for the future, guys? Does this mean that I'm gonna not hate Sony? Fuck no. If Sony fucks up, I'm gonna say something. If Microsoft fucks up, I'm going to say something. If Nintendo fucks up, which they did, I'm going to say something. I'm going to have to go on record and admit that I think Nintendo fucked up the launch of the 3DS. I mean, yeah, I made a video back then. I made a video saying that history repeats itself, because prior to the launch of the system, there were a lot of similarities to last generation portable launches. Everyone said Nintendo was shit, everyone said Sony was God, and Sony fucked up. So now we're at the point where it's the same old shit, where the Nintendo system came out first, the Sony system came out later. We'll have to wait and see. Is Sony finally serious about competing in the portable market? And I hate to say it, but I think they are. I think they really are trying better and learning from their mistakes. So, hey, as I say, I'm not the type of person that completely gives up and says, you know what, fuck it, I'm never going to support anything ever again. I give a corporation a second chance. But if you fuck up for that particular system, for that particular generation, it's going to take a lot for me to trust you again. Am I going to buy a PlayStation 4? Probably not. It's at that point where the difference between a PC gaming and the games that come out for the PlayStation 3, they're very similar. Almost every third-party game out there is available on both platforms, so why should I bother for the console game when it's going to cost more? They're going to put some past bullshit on it, and the graphics are going to be subpar. If I buy the PC version, I get free mods that I can put on there. I can use third-party servers. The games are going to cost less. I mean, Crysis 2, I bought it for $35 when it was still $60 on the PlayStation 3. Games look far better on a PC. So that's my kind of reasoning behind it. I do think that there are certain exclusives that are only available on consoles that, you're going to want to play. Final Fantasy 13 is not available on a PC. If it was, I probably would have gotten it on the PC. Wipeout is not available on the PC, so that's something that you have to get a console for. So there are these little tiny games here and there that make you want to think, hey, I want to get a console. But Sony, I will have to wait probably a good 3 or 4 years after the next console launch for me to consider buying one. I have to wait and see. Are they having similar problems? If they are, is Sony taking the fuck you approach, or are they going to proactively, take care of their customer? What about the prices? Are the consoles that launch going to be the only ones that have all the features and slowly disappear throughout the lifespan? I don't want to hit a repeat of that. That's why I'm not supporting the PlayStation 3 anymore. That's why I will not support the next PlayStation console. Handheld, since I had a decent experience with the handheld, I'll trust the next handheld. If they fuck me over with the next handheld, fuck you, Sony. I'm not going to support the next one. That is what a gamer should be like. It sounds in a way hypocritical, but it's really a logical way of thinking, because they have different divisions. You have the handheld division of PlayStation, you have the console division. If right now they realize, our portable division isn't doing so well, but their console division is starting to pick up steam, unfortunately. My PlayStation 3 currently is gutted. There's nothing inside, as you can make out. I bought a replacement fan for this fucking thing, and then it turned out the replacement fan was defective, had a bad ball bearing. So I bought another replacement fan. I returned the other one. So my console is currently sitting on top of a box. It works. That's how I've been playing. It's just not in its case. So, I know, guys. I hate to say it, but, the thing is that I am going to attempt to get a PS Vita. There's nothing denying that. As I said, if news comes out, I would really appreciate it if my subscribers would send me a link to a news article. If there's a news article out there that's saying, hey, there's going to be PlayStation Pass for PlayStation Vita games, then let me know, because then I will cancel the pre-order. Plain and simple. That's how you say to Sony, look, I don't support this shit. I haven't bought a single PlayStation 3 game that has PSN Pass. I refuse to. No matter how good the game is, if there was a next-gen Wipeout game that had PlayStation Pass, I would tell the developer and publisher, go fuck yourself, I'm not buying your game. Unless you take this shit off. And that's how us gamers should treat this. Look at Level 1 Games. He's a buy, sell, trade game store owner. It's not plain trade, so it's not franchise-based. It's a private-owned company that he made, that he put his time and effort into. He's refusing to start, buying these games with these online passes because they have gotten to the point where they're only fucking over the consumer. They're not helping the gamer at all. They're just giving the corporation more money. That's not right at all. And then they give you bullshit reasons why they're doing it. Like Uncharted 3. They said, oh, well, the reason why we're doing this is blah, blah, blah. And it's like complete bullshit. You know that they're lying. You know that they're just making it up. But it's up to us gamers to stand up. I mean, Netflix, look at that. Prime example, and I'm going to use this example all the time. When Netflix did something that its customers did not like, instead of them bitching about it, they did something about it. They said, hey, you know what? Fuck this. Cancel. That's what we need to do. You guys need to stop saying, oh, I love this game so much, I have to have it. I know, I don't like PSN Pass, but I have to have this game. No, fuck your feelings for once. If you and everybody who acted that way stop buying these games, stop saying, oh, but I must have the game, these corporations would be forced to stop this bullshit. The only reason why it's getting worse is because they realize, hey, people are continuously buying these games even though we're fucking them over. And that's what you guys need to do. You guys gotta stop buying the shit. Stop it, Don't say you're powerless. Don't say, oh, well, it'll never happen. No shit. If everyone continues to buy these games, of course it's not gonna happen. If you guys finally said, you know what, vote with your wallets. That's the prime example there. Netflix did it. There's no reason why we can't do it. We're a community here. If every single one of my subscribers said, fuck you, Sony, I'm not buying any game with PSN Pass, that would be a big chunk of sales that they would lose. If every single person who has ranted on this shit stopped buying their games, that would be a huge chunk of sales that they would lose. We need to stand up for each other, guys. We need to do what's best for us, not what's best for the publishers or the developers. Because, God, I've gotten so sick and tired of reading comments of people saying, oh, but the developer, they get screwed. No, they're only saying that to you. It's not the fact, it's not the truth. Even if the developer gets screwed, it's getting screwed by the publisher. The people who are making these decisions are the publisher. EA owns a lot of development studios, but they're a publisher primarily. They are the ones who started this shit. They're the ones who say, hey, Project $10, we need to start charging $10 to enhance online play. They didn't enhance shit. All they did was manage to give reasons for other publishers to do the same thing. There's no reason for this. Their excuses are bullshit. And if you heard from Level 1 Games, he even said, hey, as far as he's concerned, GameStop is allowed to give away free passes for those who are buying Batman Arkham City used. So wait, you're bitching that used game sales are killing you, but then you turn around and give free codes to GameStop customers? Does anyone see the contradiction there? That's what we need to, start seeing. Stop being blind. Start seeing the bullshit that's right in front of you. As I said, yeah, some people are going to say, hey, Jack the Bomb, you're a hypocrite. You're going to buy a PS Vita, but, I have pretty decent reasons to buy one. As I said, if it's shit, I ain't going to support it anymore. If Sony cleans up their act, they deserve business. If they don't clean up their act, they don't deserve business. You see, that's the way it is. Like NVIDIA. I've never had a problem with NVIDIA graphics cards. I love them. I've always hated on AMD. I've always hated on ATI Radeon cards. My one coworker buys 2 NVIDIA graphics cards that were defective out of the box. But yet, I buy a Radeon card for the first time and it turns out to be fine. Am I going to hate on NVIDIA for that one fuck up? No. But if, let's say, I bought the cards and they didn't do anything about it, they said, fuck you, we're not going to support you, I will choose to take my business elsewhere. But if, let's say, I buy defective cards and they say, hey, we're sorry about this, we'll definitely give you new cards, like what Apple did. Apple has taken care of me. My MacBook Pro died. I had 4 of them fail. They gave me a 5th one. The 5th one's been working fine. I mean, it's back there and it still works. So am I going to say, fuck you, Apple, I'm not going to buy your shit anymore? No. They took care of me. Yes, their shit broke, but they took care of me. That's the way you guys got to look at it. And I'm sorry for going on for far too long, but, let me know, guys, what you guys think. Do you think I'm right in my decision? Do you guys think I'm wrong in my decision? Sound off. Take care.